Hi everyone, it's Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make what we call our pretty little doily. Now it only measures about 11 inches across, so it's a really nice size to maybe use as a placemat for a small dinner plate, maybe dessert. You can put a vase on it, candy dish, and if you make it out of cotton like this one, you could put your hot basket of rolls on it without burning your table. Now, the original pattern, when we first wrote this pattern, was called the Patriotic Little Doily. We decided when we were going to update this pattern that we want to be able to make it in other colors so that you could see that it's not just for patriotic yarn. Now this yarn is a yarn that I dyed myself. I took 100% white cotton, medium number 4 white cotton, and then I dyed it myself using a tie-dye kit. If you do this, it's a lot of fun, and I have a blog about how I did the yarn. We did some t-shirts and different things. And so this yarn is 100% cotton dyed with a tie-dye kit, and then I soaked it in a salt solution with some white vinegar in order for the colors to stay. So you won't be able to find this exact cotton yarn because I dyed it myself. But if you're wanting to make it in the patriotic colors, there are lots of different cotton yarns that have that. Peaches and cream, sugar and cream, and also the cotton from Premier as well as Hobby Lobby have a variegated red, white, and blue. If you're wanting to do it in red, white, and blue, that is. Now, you can find the free crochet pattern on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link right down in the notes underneath this video. So you're going to need a medium weight number 4 cotton or cotton blend, or even acrylic if you're not going to put anything hot on it. If you're just going to use it for decoration, acrylic is fine as well. I'm going to be using this Comfy Cotton blend from Lionbrand, and it's called Spring Meadow. And I made some placemats for my outdoor table using this cotton blend yarn. So I thought I'll make a doily to match that, and I'm going to do that in the center of my doily for my main color. And then I'm going to use this green, which is just a cotton medium 4 spring green color for the trim, and then it will match my outdoor placemats. You'll need about 1.5 ounces of your main color and a little less than 1 ounce of your trim color. We're going to be stitching with the 5.0 millimeter crochet hook, which is an H hook. You'll need a needle to weave in those ends and then a pair of scissors. All right, we're going to begin with our slip knot, and we're going to chain 5. We're going to join this chain 5 into a circle. So we'll put the tail of our yarn over our hook and pull it through. Snug that down and stitch our stay knot. Alrighty. We'll put our hook in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. So our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And we're going to stitch 11 more double crochets in this chain 5 loop, so we have a total of 12 double crochets. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2. So that gives us 2 double crochets. And you'll notice as I'm stitching my double crochets, I'm also stitching over the tail of yarn. That way I can close up that hole when I'm all finished with row 1. All right, let's see how many I have. So chain 3, so that's our first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I need one more double crochet. That's 12. I'm going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now I'm going to turn this over, and because I stitched over that tail of yarn, I'm just going to gently pull on that, and that's going to close that hole up in the center. And then we can go ahead and take our needle and weave that in. And we have to weave it in anyway, and so this will get it all done and we won't have to worry about it later. We go one way, we go back the other, and then we turn around and go back the other way. And make sure we go through some of the fibers of the yarn so that that hole doesn't come undone. All right, so now we have row 1, 12 double crochets, join with the slip stitch to the chain 3 and chain 3. Our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet on row 2. We're going to stitch a double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3, and then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets, there we go, in each of those double crochets around. So on row 1 we had 12 double crochets, and on row 2 we're going to have 24. 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets around. We'll stitch this all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I have stitched 2 double crochets in each of those 12 double crochets around, so I have 24 double crochets. I'm going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch, and this time I'm going to chain 4. The chain 4 counts as a double crochet, chain 1. Now we're going to go to the next stitch and we're going to stitch a double crochet. There we go. Chain 1. This yarn, I forgot, is just a little bit splitty. Alright, and so what we're going to do is we're going to stitch a double crochet, chain 1 in each of the double crochets around. Double crochet, chain 1. Double crochet, chain 1. Double crochet, chain 1, all the way around. We're not skipping any stitches. One double crochet, chain 1 in each of the double crochets around. And we'll do this all the way around and join back to the chain 3 of that beginning chain 4. I have stitched a double crochet, chain 1 in each of those double crochets around. I have 24 double crochets and 24 chain 1s. I'm going to join to the third chain of that beginning chain 4 with a slip stitch and chain 3. I'm going to double crochet in the top of that chain 3 and then chain 1. And so what we're going to be doing on row 4 is we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in the double crochet and chain 1. We'll skip that chain 1 and go to the next double crochet and stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1. 2 double crochets in the next double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochets in the next double crochet, and chain 1. And so that's our repeat. 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, and we'll do this all the way around for row 4. All the way around, and then we'll join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 4, stitching 2 double crochets in the double crochets with chain 1s in between. So now you're going to have 48 double crochets and 24 chain 1 spaces. All right, I joined to the top of my chain 3. I'm going to slip stitch in the next double crochet and then slip stitch in the chain 1 space and chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet. We're going to stitch another double crochet in that chain 1 space and then chain 1. We're going to go to the next chain 1 space and stitch 2 double crochets and chain 1. We'll go to the next chain 1 space, stitch 2 double crochets and chain 1. And so what we're doing for row 5 is 2 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces and chain 1. And we'll do this all the way around row 5, stitching 2 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces, chain 1. We'll do this all the way around and then join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 5, stitching 2 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces with chain 1s in between. We're going to join to the chain 3 with a slip stitch. We're going to slip stitch in the double crochet and then slip stitch in the chain 1 space and chain 3. Now for row 6, we're going to be doing similar to what we did in row 5. We're going to place 2 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces, only we're going to chain 2 in between. So our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. We'll double crochet again in that same chain 1 space and we'll chain 2. Now we'll go to the next chain 1 space and stitch 2 double crochets and then we'll chain 2. And so it's similar. The only difference is we're chaining 2 in between our 2 double crochet clusters instead of chain 1. 1 and 2 and chain 2. 2 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces and chain 2. And again, we'll do this all the way around and join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 6, stitching 2 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces with chain 2s in between. Now we're going to do row 7, and row 7 is similar. We joined to the top of our chain 3. We're going to slip stitch in the next double crochet, slip stitch in the chain 2 space, and chain 3. Again, it counts as our first double crochet. We're going to double crochet in that chain 2 space, and this time we're going to chain 3. 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, 1 and 2, and then we're going to chain 3. Alrighty, so 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, there we go, and chain 3. 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, and chain 3. And this is our repeat for row 7. 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, chain 3, repeat all the way around. And we'll join back to that chain 3. I have completed row 7, stitching 2 double crochets in the chain 2 spaces with chain 3 in between each of those. I joined to the top of my chain 3, and I'm going to cut my yarn because we're going to use our trim color now, and I'm using this solid green. I'm going to bring it in, get those tails out of the way. Those will have to be weaved in later, of course. Whoops, I'm grabbing the wrong string. There we go. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to place a single crochet between the first 2 double crochets. So we'll go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both loops. Now this brings us to our chain 3 space, and we're going to place 4 double crochets in this chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to go in between the next 2 double crochets and stitch a single crochet. And that's our first shell made for our trim. Now this brings us to our next chain 3 space, and we're going to stitch 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Single crochet between the next 2 double crochets, and then 4 double crochets in the chain 3 space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Single crochet between the next 2 double crochets. And I think by now you can see how our trim is going to work. 4 double crochets in the chain 3 space. There we go. There's 2, 3, and 4. Single crochet between the next 2 double crochets. And that's the way that the trim works all the way around. We single crochet between the next 2 double crochets, and then we stitch 4 double crochets in the chain 3 space. And repeat. And again, we'll do this all the way around, and we'll join back to our first single crochet. I have completed my trim. 4 double crochets in each of the chain 3 spaces with a single crochet in between each of those sets of double crochet. Here's my last 4 double crochets. I'm going to join to the first single crochet with a slip stitch. We're going to cut our yarn. I'm going to go in that next stitch and pull that loop to the back. There we go. And now I have a few ends to weave in on the back. We've already done this one, so we don't have to worry about that one, but I need to weave these in, and then our doily will be all ready to use. So here is our completed doily, and I am absolutely loving how it turned out, and I can't wait to see how it looks on my tables outside. And then here is the original one that we did with the red, white, and blue. So you can make it patriotic. You could change this to Christmas colors, Halloween, any colors, and make some beautiful, pretty little doilies.